Hello and welcome to the 5-Minute University on Creating Better Presentations. This is brought to you by Adam Persky from the University of North Carolina. There is a growing amount of evidence on what makes for effective multimedia presentations, like PowerPoint. Software like this is easy to use, and our instinct is to put as much content as we can within these presentations. Often we have slides that are text-heavy, and we talk or narrate these slides as students are trying to read what is on the slides. This can actually cause a problem because this taxes working memory, ultimately leading to splitting students' attention. So, how do we avoid this? Our slides need to facilitate learning and not be a distraction. Therefore, following some basic design principles is important to maximize the interaction of students with the course material. First, we need to orient ourselves to how our senses integrate with memory, otherwise known as our information processing system. Within the context of learning, we typically use text, visuals, and auditory information. That is, students are reading, seeing, and listening. The visual and verbal channel are used regardless if material is presented by book or by computer. Each channel is limited in capacity, thus too much information within a given time frame can overload the system and information gets missed. For example, if we put lots of text on the screen as I'm speaking, we are putting extra strain on auditory processing and splitting your attention. This is bad because information will be missed. If we are attentive to the environment, the information we are receiving from our senses gets placed into working memory. This also has a finite capacity to store information. Active cognitive processing, otherwise known as active learning, promotes meaningful learning by moving the information from working memory into long-term storage. Long-term storage has an infinite capacity. Here are some general rules of thumb in designing multimedia presentations. Text is good. Text and pictures are better. Narration in pictures can be even better. Effective visuals efficiently deliver much more information than an explanatory text. We also remember pictures better than we remember text. Using graphs or figures and verbally explaining the graph or figure is very helpful. Keep things together in space and time. The key to optimal presentation of visuals and narration is both are presented at the same time. For printed material, the parallel is visuals with adjacent or embedded text explaining the figure. People learn better from animations when the concept involves changes over time or when learners are novices and cannot form a mental model on their own. However, don't animate for the sake of animation. Presentation speed is important. Students are novices, and thus it may take more time to digest new material. Keep segments short enough to allow learners to be able to pace themselves. Use a personal tone rather than a formal tone. This goes for the spoken or written word. Get students to prepare. Better learning occurs when key terms and concepts precede the presentation, video, or animation. Use signals to cue the learner on how to organize the material. This can include headers, arrows, or highlights. Avoid redundancy. That is, do not present the same information in different forms. For example, if you have a visual with explanatory text, there's no need to talk through it. If you have a visual and are going to narrate through the visual, there's no need for the text. Less is more. The maximum is 2 to 4 elements of new information at a time. Once the information is presented, use active learning strategies to help move the information into long-term storage. Then, new material can be presented. Keep visuals simple. Avoid overly complex diagrams and extraneous information. For complex diagrams, highlight important material or use animations to build the overall visual. This concludes our time for the 5-Minute University. After completing a short survey on the next page, you can access the handout full of great resources to get you started with creating better presentations in your classroom.